Hello world, and our just welcome you to the show.
Hey, how you doing, Rich? What's going on?
Man, my brother, I am doing great. It has been just a gangbusters week. A little bit of life update. The kiddo's done with school. The kiddo came
Hey,
back home. The
all right.
kiddo is getting with her boyfriend, and they're doing a 30-day, 40-day trip to all these national parks. Like they're going to hit Yellowstone, they're going to do that. So
Awesome.
last week was nuts. We were building things for her car. We were adding things to her car. We were separating. They were packing. They ran dehydrators
Oh,
just to
wow.
get everything dehydrated. So while they're out hiking and camping, they can put them in and rehydrate and eat their meals.
Oh,
It was
that's really cool.
it was nuts, man. It was nuts. Like even me and you, we barely talked this past week
Yes.
because I think every moment after hours I was busy, and even during work I was taking breaks to help them get things going. But they are all gone, and I'm back to being an empty nester for 40 days.
Nice. I saw some wooden thing that you guys were building for her car. And it was like, oh, okay, that's a thing.
It's pretty cool, man. We made a for those that watch YouTubes out there, listeners. People that live in vehicles, they'll build them out to where they have a bed. They got storage underneath the bed. They'll take the back seats out. They'll put in storage bays. That's what we did, and so we had
All
all
right.
that built. It's in two pieces to where it's easy to get out of the vehicle, just in case she has to get to a spare tire. But boy, I tell you, she did a great job, Ryan. She ran. I think one of the only times she was like, "Hey, would you cut this?" instead of me was when we were ripping 2x4s down to 2x2s, and the table
Okay.
saw. You got to get really close to the blade, even though I got a guard on it, even though I got a push stick.
Yeah.
That was one spot when she was like, "Dad, I'll let you handle that one." So it
Nice.
worked out really good. So very happy, back to normal. And how about you? How's life treated you this past week or so?
It's been really good. I've been in home alone mode. My wife's off doing stuff, so I've been doing some things around the house. And, you know, got to actually play a game this weekend, and it's one we've talked about in the past.
What game is this? What? And did you play by yourself? Did you play with friends? Where'd you play this?
It's the game itself is a one or two person game. So I played it at the solo aspect. I'm going through the campaign a little bit. The game's actually called Castle Assault.
Oh my
Right.
gosh, the thief guys.
Yes, this is the Thief guys before they were the Thief guys.
Wow.
So the game's actually, I consider it decent. It's not stellar by any means, but it's held my attention, and I'm through scenario 4 with one of the factions. They have like 6 factions in there. I'm using the elves. The first 3 were like, that isn't that hard. This last scenario kicked my butt. I won it, but if I didn't win that turn, I was dying the turn after. So it was a very interesting experience and interesting game in that aspect.
Personally, I love games that you can die at.
Oh yeah,
It sure makes it a lot more fun when you're like, "Uh-oh, I might die."
yeah. That was I was thinking that for a couple turns at the end. I'm like, oh no, these little ooze things are multiplying, and there's little oozes filling up the board, and I'm like, I can't kill these fast enough. It's a tower defense game, so you have a tower defense feeling. You're playing little tower defenses. You're building your little watchtowers, whatever. So here you have 3 swim lanes, and you're summoning your guys to in one of the swim lanes, and you pick up what you want to do. Your guys can't swap spots, so if you're summoning somebody that's a blocker, you want to put him first, and then put the shooty guy behind him because you don't really have a way to swap them, or not that I've found yet. I'm playing with the base game, the base faction. I've added 1 card into my deck because I did something when I completed one of the scenarios. And as you're doing things, you do deck building aspect as well. So you're building your deck up a little bit. So it's actually not a bad little solo game. in that aspect. It'd be a little dueling game. I don't know if I'll play it much like that, but the campaign's kind of interesting. And then there's another solo campaign in the expansion that I happened to pick up with it. I got it at BGG when I came out to visit you last fall. It was super cheap because like, I think the guy was just trying to unload it after the whole debacle of these guys. It was well worth. I think I paid $5 or $10 for it. It was well worth that, but it was those guys are a bunch of idiots.
I really enjoyed when you picked that game up. We walked up to the gentleman's table where he was, handing things out, and Ryan's like, "Hey, I'm the Castle Assault guy," and you saw him get this little smile, like a little smile, like, "Oh, you're the one that wanted this game, isn't it?" Because it was, everyone knows the lore now behind it, to where you actually have a little bit of interesting history inside that piece. Now, I noticed on BGG, which is BoardGameGeek.com, they had it listed as a 4 of 10. If I'm being nice, I think I rounded that up. What would you give it after just your first kind of solo couple times?
So far, I've given it I gave it a 6.8 just recently.
Oh,
at this point, so it's above my threshold. My bottom end threshold is 6.5 of stuff I want to keep. It's not, as I said, it's not like a 7 or an 8 or by any means, but it's light, it's quick. I can play it in a half an hour. Play like one of the scenarios in a half an hour. That's super easy. So it hits some of the right stuff. If you're looking for really complex and really big, I don't know, because I just haven't gotten into all the other cards. All the expansion cards I got them were all in shrink, so I don't even know what they do. I haven't opened any of those yet. I wanted to play through the base game. Guy before me never played the expansion stuff. And he did say it is brand new. Looks like he played it a couple times, but not much. And if you only play up to like scenario 3 of the base in the solo thing, you're gonna be kind of sad. It's just, I think they're teaching you how to play the game.
Yeah, totally.
You're just doing stuff to play the game.
I just went into the reviews, Ryan, and I really think your number is probably on point, because I went into the review breakdown for this game. It has 122 1 stars. And then I went to go look at what people said. Thief. Yes. I did not pay for this game. What? MTG is the holy grail. Disgrace. What a joke. So many comments like that. They basically got spammed. And if I take the ones out, like if I just look at the list and I get rid of the ones, the 6 is the strongest voting at 33 people. And it's not necessarily like a bell curve, because there's some 10s in there. But I think you were on the money at 6.8, Ryan.
Yeah, it seemed fine. The guy was that I got it from was like, well, I don't know if there's any magic cards in there or not. But he made that joke when I picked it up, which was really funny. I was like,
I forgot he said that. That is great.
It was great. I'm not saying go out and try to track this sucker down, but if you do find it, and you do find it cheap, especially with the expansion, I'm thinking the expansion is going to add a lot based on looking in the rule book, and it's worth it if it's super cheap. It's and you don't mind, you want to play a solo game or a little lightish 2-player game. I'm going to caveat it with the rule book. You're going to end up reading it 2 or 3 times and going, "What are they doing?" The rule book is probably the biggest complaint I have. There are some videos on YouTube. Watch them. Read the rule book a couple times. I've played 3 or 4 times, and just this morning was like, "Oh, that's what that does." So the rules are intermixed in the tutorial that's printed in the book. So you got to read through all of that to pick up some of the rules, which is a little unfortunate.
And dear listener, when it comes to rules, Ryan is my rule person in my life. I have lots of friends, and Ryan is the one that I think we all go to about rules questions, because even a board game that was coming out that he helped demo, you ended up kind of being a tech writer approver for the rules on that game. And you got a shout out, I think, in the rule book for your help on helping ensure that what they wrote was translatable to someone and easy to digest So when you make these comments, you have to me, you have some backing, even from the Magic judging days. I mean, you really climbed up that ladder to where rules. Maybe that's the way I'll put it. Rules like I know beers.
There you go. I want things to make sense, and I want things to be in a digestible format. It's like the rules to English translation kind of thing. I want to put anymore. I want to sit down and just play a game. Yeah. I don't want to spend 3 hours to figure out how to go play a 30-minute game.
It shouldn't be.
Not a good time. It should not be like that. So, all right.
Well, we're doing some updates today, and I've got an update for you on nail polish. Last episode, 2 episodes ago, we talked about the motherboards you saved, the A500 Plus. I went to go find that color. Mm-hmm. Dude, it's not on Amazon. I'm HEB. I'm at HEB, my local store down here for groceries. I go to their cosmetics aisle. Sure enough, I was able to find that the Extreme Wear by Sally Hansen was there, and I needed some new black nail polish, so I picked that up. Oh, nice. They didn't have the color, but they did have one that was like a sand or another type that I think I'm going to go back and get. I'm going to look one more time on Amazon. My question is, not having that nail polish on there is like every day a bad day, or should I get this done like tomorrow?
I think you should get it done in the next month or so. Okay. I'm not saying that's the end of the world. I'm trying to figure out where I got mine. I might have got mine at like CVS. I'm
telling you, it's nuts. I thought for sure I'd find it on Amazon. And Ryan and I see each other while we're doing this, and I think he's on his computer because it was crazy. I know exactly what you mean. I found the brand. They have a lot of crazy colors.
Yes.
And, there was, as we were looking at them, Sarah, the girlfriend, said, I think this would be really close. And I said, okay, maybe I'll get that. I'm going to look one more time online and see if I can find it anywhere. But nail polish update. Yeah, unbelievably. Simplest thing in the world. Can't get a hold of it. I can get a hold of so many other crazy I can get chips that are 40 years old. I can't get the nail polish in the right color.
Yeah, I just looked it up in my local CVS, and it's in stock at my local CVS.
Oh, okay. I'm going to have to do that. Can you drop that link for what you're looking at right into our little share document for me?
Can actually.
And I'll cut this part. I'll just, but I don't need to. People, we should. Oh, thank you. Because now I can go compare that to my CVS's and make sure I get this right. So, hey, nail polish update may end up better than I thought.
Cool. Yeah, I had an issue with finding it on Amazon as well. And then I looked around the CVS, and that link that I've shared with you, and if it's good, we'll share it with everybody else too, is all of the Sally Hansen. And then you have to pull down for the tan lime green tan lime. Yeah, tan lime.
Tan lime.
Yes, 5. Tan lime. Yep.
It's in stock 1 mile away. Thank you, Ryan.
Yeah, you just go to the CVS, go pick it up, and it's like $4.
Well, that will let me get the A500 on the bench then, so I can get that piece taken care of. And I'll probably call you when I do it, just so I put it in the right places, and I don't mess up my first time doing this, which is ridiculous. But okay, good update. We got that progressing. The one thing Ryan doesn't help me with is working on my Volkswagen bus.
So, that is an in-person experience that I am not there to help you with it. Otherwise, I think I would still kind of like pop open a root beer and cheer you on, going, "Looks great."
It has been nuts. It has now. I went back to it this past weekend because my kiddo took off, and it made me go, I need to get this done to go camping. Boy, we've had a lot of updates, Ryan. It has been the driver's door. There was I had all the keys. Where you put a key in, you turn a key, right? That lock.
Yeah.
They were all just so jammed up and gummy. I ended up at a real locksmith getting my keys redone because I only had one key. So I got more keys done. And while I was there, I got cleaning solvent from them. So just like we use Deoxit and BW100, they have a solvent that is best for locks.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, and of course the young lady working there at the locksmith shop was really nice and was like,
Okay.
you could probably just go get this from Home Depot, and gave some other brand that was probably half the price, right? And I said,
Okay.
no, I want the right one. So I got it,
Well, right.
and I worked those key locks so much, spraying them out with air, spraying them out with air, spraying them. They
Cool.
work smooth as silk now. So
Oh,
that was one of the things. It felt like you were going to break the darn key every time you tried to open the door. And of course, this made me take the door panels off, which then made me order new door panels, which made me get the material that you put inside of a door panel to help with deadening, and also with sound noise outside. It holds in heat. It holds in air better.
Oh.
It's kind of like a mat. Like a really thick mat. Like imagine if you have a mat you step on. Imagine one got super compressed and it has a sticky side. You just stick it to the inside of the door. So I got that going for me. Got a lot of pieces done there on the driver's side. Still have some more to do. On the engine, I did an oil change. Oil temp sensor was gone, so I needed to put one in. Also,
did you do your own oil change?
Yes. On this case, I would. On new cars, I don't want to do that on new cars. There's too many weird things that can happen. This is an engine from 1972. I mean, it's the same thing it was for 10 years. You just open the drain plug, pull out the filter, get everything out, put in new filters, clean out their filter, put everything back together, and away you go. And O'Reilly's does your oil recycling. So I just have I have a special oil pan can. So it's a can that one side of it's a pan, and you open it, so the drain hole's there. Change your oil, goes into the can, put your plug back in, take it to O'Reilly's. They recycle it all for you, so you don't have to pour it down the drain or pour it in your backyard and be an EPA nightmare.
Right? Does it have a cost to it, or is it like they're just doing it to protect they're doing whatever.
Free service.
Someone's probably paying somewhere, but for you just show up and.
It's the classic. If they can get you in the store, you're gonna buy something else, right?
Probably.
So it's the freebie service that you go in, you do it, and the next thing you know, you're like, oh, I need an air freshener. Oh, you know what? I need a new socket set. Or next thing you know, you're buying another part for your project car anyways. And that's, it works out really well. So had a great time getting my hands dirty. I haven't changed oil, Ryan, since I was 17, 18 years old.
I'm impressed. I've never done it ever. And with my current cars, that's not a thing. So
yeah, they don't have oil, or they don't have the same type of oil.
They don't have the same type, right?
Yeah.
That's awesome. So you got that. And so, did you add the sensor yourself to the oil temp sensor? Was it just something you add on, or is
it's just something you put? It's part of the engine block. It just wasn't there, and so I got a new one and took the plug out and put the new one in, so my oil temp sensor would work. I don't know. Must have gone bad. So they're hard to get these parts. You almost have to order everything. And so someone just put something of the same, thread and dimension and just plugged the hole and undid the cable. Because these are air-cooled engines. I guess if that oil gets too hot, you probably got other bigger problems going on. But I like having an oil temperature sensor. To me, that's pretty important. That's a pretty important feature to have on a vehicle. So I wanted to get that resolved. The other crazy thing, I was like you. I was an electrical man, and I haven't finished this project, but I started this project. It has an auxiliary 12-volt system, and it didn't come with a battery for it. So I picked up the auxiliary 12-volt, a marine battery for like RVs and people like that. And I wired everything up. Took me a while to figure out how the wiring was done, but I got it all wired up to where all my auxiliaries work now. So my radio works. That one time someone wired in a cigarette lighter for doing charging of your phone, right? Remember old school? You plug those things into the cigarette lighter?
Yes, I still have stuff around that uses that. There's so many things that use those cigarette lighter adapters. We're going on ham stuff.
Yeah.
I just picked up a portable fridge.
Oh,
It doesn't have a compressor, but it works with the cigarette lighter adapter for your car, and it will make the temperature. It says 36 degrees less than whatever the outside temperature is.
Oh, that's nice.
And we bought a AC to cigarette lighter adapter. So if we're somewhere when we're traveling, we're going inside the hotel, we can take the whole thing inside and plug it in the hotel room, and it'll still work there, and everything will stay cold.
Oh, that is so smart. So the last piece on my project, I got to wire in this, and I don't know the fancy word, but this is a smart circuit that is going to live between my aux battery and my starter battery, to where when my car is on, it will charge my aux until it's full and shut off.
Right.
And when my car is off, it kills the circuit between my aux and starter, so it doesn't drain my starter battery. So that's another little piece that I'll hopefully wrap up next weekend.
That'll be great. That'll be a nice ad. So when you're off camping and stuff, you're using the lights out, and you're not stranding yourself somewhere.
That's
Because
right.
that'd be a miserable experience to go, oh, I guess we shouldn't have stayed up so late with the lights on because now we're going nowhere.
And play the radio. You know, you're making dinner.
Right.
You got the radio on. You want the car off. And for folks, we've talked about the Westfalia before, but this little unit we picked up, it does have a fridge in it. It does have a water area with a working pump to a tap inside of it, and it has a stove built into it. And so it has a little kitchenette area kind of in the middle. And it's just really well done, and it was taken care of. The gentleman we purchased it from was like the second owner and just loved it. He just graduated into bigger equipment. Him and his partner were bigger projects with bigger vans and 4x4s and all this other stuff. So yeah, fun times.
Have you thought about getting like a solar panel for it? So if you're sitting somewhere for a long time, just to charge that aux battery from solar during the day? We've talked about a standalone panel that you would mount outside the van and put like on its peg. You know what I'm talking about? Like on its stand to face the sun. With the Westfalia, I have a fiberglass top that pops up. Oh, so you can't, is it hard to mount it up there then?
I wouldn't want to break through and make any mount points.
No, definitely not.
That way I don't have to worry about leakage, right? Anytime you make a hole, you got to worry about leakage. And I said, you know what? If we do this, we should get one we just put in the back. We set up, point towards the sun, and let's use it that way. But 100% on the list, just to make more electricals.
That makes sense. I mean, if you're going to be somewhere for a couple of days, you don't want to just have to start the van to charge that other battery. You get the solar panel out of whatever storage area you have and set it up and get it plugged in and just let it roll. You can run.
I need to get my ham radio license. That's what I need to do next, because that's another fun thing you can do while you're out camping is ham radio.
You can. So for me, this past weekend, I went to a little ham fest, which is
what a segue. Almost like we wrote a script.
I know. We write scripts. We're just usually really bad at following them. So the ham fest was great. It's a little one around me. They have it every year. Ham fests over the years have gotten much smaller than what they've used to be. But they are a flea market effectively for all kinds of stuff. Generally, ham radio operators set them up, local clubs, that's what runs this one. And people bring whatever they want to sell. And I've seen ranges of radios to someone had a whole bunch of old Byte magazines, audio equipment, all kinds of random, if it's electronics or somehow related to radio, even some vintage computer stuff occasionally. And I don't see much of that anymore, but a lot of radio stuff for sure. And this one wasn't huge by any means. It probably was, I don't know, 30 people there, 30, 40 vendors, meaning, which isn't a ton, but it's a lot. It's a decent amount. So a vendor is somebody like I could have been a vendor if I had a whole bunch of stuff to sell. You roll up, set up a table, put your stuff on it, sell it for whatever. You pay the club X number of dollars to be that vendor. I don't think it was much. I think it was like $20 to have a spot. So it's not a big deal. It was great. Looked around. I had some self control this year. Did not buy a ton of stuff, but bought a joystick, a
Ooh.
Apple pinned or not Apple, Atari pinned joystick, so a little 9-pin. This should work on a 64 on my Amiga, particularly. Found that it's a little Radio Shack Archer brand. Haven't tried it yet, but it looks pretty decent. Not, dear listener, I'm showing you the
Oh,
ridge.
look at that. The pistol grip with button on top, button
Yeah.
on the base too. Oh, and does it
Yep.
have the suction cups?
It does have all 4 suction cups are here.
Oh,
Yes. So, like, all right,
how old is that, Ryan? Can you
How
get
old
a
is it?
date off of there?
I do not have a date. I have a patent number on the bottom, but I do not have a date.
I'm telling you, folks, this thing looks minty. It is minty by what I'm seeing. Is it minty to you, local?
It's pretty good. The top button looks a little like it's got some slosh in it. It looks fine. Looks like it was a pretty good pickup.
Okay, Ryan, move that north, south, east, west. We want to hear the clicks. Do the clicks.
Oh, it clicks. It's you hear it a little bit.
I think those are good clicks.
Yeah, I think that's a good thing. I think we're fine.
Yeah.
As I said, I have not tried it yet to see how that works out.
Okay.
The other thing I picked up was a little 5-volt power supply transformer wall wart thing.
Oh, yeah.
That was looking for one of those for a little while. The biggest reason is a buddy here had let me borrow some LED panels. So you can program them and like messages or do whatever on them. They run off 5 volts. I didn't have anything 5 volty here, so I haven't had a chance to play with them yet. So that will be a future project. Hopefully we'll talk about that at some point. But so I have that, and I think they let me borrow, I think there's a Raspberry Pi hat as well to plug into the LED panel so I can actually drive the LEDs.
Right.
So-
Do you not have a box that's just full of old power supplies of things that have broken?
I have some, but I really only kept the 12-volt ones, not the 5-volt.
Ah.
I didn't think I would need anything that was 5 volts. Well, and I didn't until the LED panel. I tried to.
I'm turning my LED panel on. That is, you are exactly right, is just running off of some old little wall wart that I had in a box that I scooped and changed the ends to match the ends that I needed for the little screw down terminals, and then putting into this little Arduino, for this work.
Yeah, 100%. That's I'm looking forward to playing with that in the future. Now I have power, so that's we'll move it higher on my list of things to work on. So I'm very excited about it. It's a good find. This is the only 2 things I picked up. I was really impressed. I didn't go off the edge. I almost asked about the Byte magazines because I needed 3 big boxes of Byte magazines, but I didn't even ask. I came back around and they were gone. So Fate has helped me out going, oh, they're not here anymore, so I can no longer be tempted, and there's a lot to be said for that.
That's a pretty good way to run it. And by the way, in the links, you need to drop in your Hamfest location in case anybody was curious about maybe seeing that in the future. They could follow that link. I know when we were in Denver, and I think we've talked about this on the show, that we went to a ham fest, and you actually were passing your final test.
Yes.
You had to do I think you had to do live Morse code with someone, and they questions, and I think it was like a 2-hour test, Ryan. Wasn't it like a 2-hour test?
It was about that. I did not have to do Morse code
Oh,
at that time. They had just dropped the requirements. So I had passed 5 words a minute years and years and years ago. I couldn't do it now. But at one point, there was a 13-word a minute requirement and then a 20-word a minute requirement for the highest. They had dropped that saying, hey, you only need 5 words per minute. Perfect. So I had taken the written test for that next level up, passed it. And they're like, hey, do you want to take the next one? Anyway, it's free. You've already paid, so you can go take it, pass or fail. And I went, sure. And ended up passing that one as well. So I picked up my extra license.
and what was nice for me, there had to be 100 vendors there. at
Oh
that
yeah, it
point.
was huge. Yeah,
It
that
was
was
huge.
that was a great time. That's when Hamfests were ginormous. There's a couple here and there that are still pretty big, but generally they're just not that big anymore.
And we
They're
were much
better.
younger men then too. That
Oh, yeah.
I remember the gentlemen that are probably my age now were
Yes.
congratulating you because it was just hard to get young blood into that
Yes.
environment. And I'm sure they still have the same problem. What was the
Mhm.
age demographics at Hamfest generally in your brain?
At the Hamfest or just in ham radio as a
No,
general?
this last one you just went to. When you were walking around this weekend, was everyone our age or were there
Yeah, they
younger
were
people?
all, I would say, late 40s and up. I would say vast majority. There's some less, but it, right or wrong, ham radio generally is a older person's hobby.
Yeah.
I haven't really figured that out. I've gone in and out of it for how much I go, how much I do stuff with it. My local club I haven't been to in a long time. I only have so many hours in a day. But the age demographic there was mostly retired, close to retired, with some smaller number of younger people.
You know what I'm going to say? It probably is. You talk about point of entry for things.
Mm-hmm.
Well, if I have a house, I have a room I can do things in. If I have a
Sure.
house, I can put an antenna up permanently, not just every single time I want to use it. There could be some
Right.
of those points of entry that are 1,000% you can get around. You were in an apartment in Denver and you had a mobile antenna and you had mobile stuff, you had mobile ham things.
Yes.
But you could see now how I'm thinking about that point of entry. You can do bigger things if you have a house and you can get deeper into the hobby. Probably that might be part of it. I'm just making that up. I don't know, listener. Like and subscribe. Did you agree with me?
I am unsure what the thing is. It's probably people's interest. I know when I started, I was licensed in 1990, so it's been a while ago.
Yeah.
I was, middle school, high school, something.
Wow.
So I was in the 14, 15 area, I believe. And now that I've just given away my age for those that can do math. And I was more interested from radio with data. So there was a huge network at that point that ran, it was 1200 baud RF text network effectively that you could send messages back and forth and they would get forwarded around. It might take a day or two to get out to the West Coast.
Wow.
People would pay, text bulletins and they would come around and they had a BBS system and all kinds of stuff related to it. And that's what got me really into the hobby. I did a little voice stuff with it, but I really liked the data and the digital modes. And I really need to get back to it. I have a lot of the equipment still.
Yeah.
It's just doing it and actually spending the time of, is that the thing I'm spending the time on?
Yeah. That makes sense. But no, good recap on that one. Very good. I think I'm out of updates. I'm sure I got something else that's an update based upon things we've chatted on in the past, but those seem to be my big ones.
Yeah, I think this was a good time for us to, hey, we're doing stuff. We're not just doing one and done. We're coming back around and doing things. And a lot of these are long-term projects as we have lives and, significant others, and somehow we have to go to work and all that good stuff. I like to be able to pay for all the things that I'm doing.
I know.
So
because I'm making no money on any of it.
on these, no, this is not a profit center. This is what a cost center, I believe. is the term.
Yeah.
So yeah, exactly. But yeah, we're having fun with it and we're sharing, and I'm glad you guys are all coming along for a ride.
Thanks again. Bye, y'all.